Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about a research work, namely an indoor navigation application for blinds on smartphone. This paper was written by the Chinnapapasopo as the part of the requirement for Master Science in Information Technology Management at Mahidol University. And at the faculty of graduate study, it was completed in 2020. Here's the background, purpose, and objectives of the paper. Today, many blind and visually impaired people use smartphones every day. They use them for work, social media, ordering food, navigation, and chatting just like that. However, there's a still big gap when it is began in indoor navigation. In unfamiliar buildings, blind users usually cannot walk independently. In Thailand, there's no common application that help blind people navigate inside buildings. Most of the time, they have to talk and ask the staff friend or stranger to guide them. Because of this main purpose of the thesis is design and develop a smartphone application that helps blind or visually impaired user walking inside a building by themselves. Here are two objectives of the thesis paper: to design an indoor navigation system on mobile platforms for blind or visually impaired persons, to develop a mobile application that help them work in indoor environment independently. The next slide is components and structure of the paper. Here we can see the 5 chapters. Chapter 1, Introductions. In here we will explain the problem, the objectives, and the scope of the work. Chapter 2, Lecture Review. We will discuss key components such as navigation, screen reader, user experience design, UX, usability testing, and React Native, the cross-platform framework used to build the app. Chapter 3, Research Methodology. In here, we will present the UX-based development process, including requirement gathering, designs, building, testing, release, and evaluations. And then chapter 4, we will see result and discussion. Show defining from the questionnaire, prototype, usability test, and certification survey with the visually impaired users. And then finally is chapter 5. We will see the conclusion and limitations, summarize the outcomes, and discuss practical limitations. Next one is the method, UX projects, beacons, and participants. In here, we can see the UX process: emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, and finally is a test. In this slide, we can see research methodology, frameworks, and then endowment with the beacons. The user using the beacons is show the directions. This slide is also important because this one key part of the system is the navigation flowchart, which explains how the app guides the user inside the building. So let me explain. For positioning inside the building, the system uses beacons, which are Bluetooth low energy device that broadcast small pixel data. The smartphone reads the signal strength RSSI from nearby beacons and use that to estimate the distance and position. In here, we can see clearly UX certification results and performance certifications. Here is a table we have to look at is the UX certification. The higher is 4.5, speed or understand is 4.0, the lowest UX is 3.85. Therefore, we can assume that overall certification is 4.07. They also consider very satisfying range. So, after reviewing the thesis, we can define the strengths. The prototype was tested with real blind user, not with sighted people. 5 blind participants used the real native prototype with the screen readers enabled. The researcher observed the usage, record videos, and interview the participant. This allowed them to identify the important issue like the need for the debit tab with the screen reader and unclear labels. The feedback was used to improve the design before building the final release version. And the weakness. Their sample size or file for prototype is very small. It's hard to identify. There are no quantitative usability metrics such as text time, error rate, or success rate. Testing happened in a single indoor environment, so we don't know how well the prototype will work in more complex building in the downtown or something huge space. As a conclusion, the app provides good user experience and helps visually impaired users navigate indoors independently. Future work should focus on technical benchmarking, large-scale development, and long-term user study to ensure real-world effectiveness. Higher certification score UX 4.2, display data 4.00, performance 4.03. Overall certification we can assume is 4.07, and there's other limitations. Evaluation is based on self-reported certification and single contact testing, no long-term study.
Thank you guys for watching to the end.